guys, so I was in the living room where I am now. I'm home alone, and I was working on typing up. Sorry, it's really late. Anyway, I'm waiting on my boyfriend to get done decorating and to call me and let me know that he's decorating for a bridal shower. I'm waiting on him to call me to let me know that he's done and at home and safe and everything. But I was working on typing up an entry for my BOS regarding reincarnation and spirits, and specifically today I was working on earthbound spirits. And it got me to thinking that I made a video earlier, but I haven't done any paranormal vlogs for a while. I figured I'd go ahead and tell you the story about a local haunt, if you will. And being in Ohio, where there's a lot of old farmland and everything, there are a lot of abandoned, if you will, cemeteries. They're just one of these abandoned cemeteries just happens to be in Chillicothe and just happens to be haunted. You really couldn't find it unless you asked a local. It's really kind of out in the middle of nowhere and down a dirt road with lots of potholes, and basically it's across the road from a field, and the cemetery is pretty large itself. It's really been neglected in the sense that tombstones have been knocked over and everything else. People know this place as Elizabeth's grave. It's like renowned around here. I don't think it's been published in the Haunted Ohio books, if you've ever read those. It's pretty, if you ask teenagers or whatever, someone my age, of course they know about it. So like I said, it's a cemetery. It's kind of neglected. I don't necessarily think that people knock the gravestones over on purpose all the time, because I do know that a guy mows there. The guy who mows the field mows the grave field, I guess. So Elizabeth's grave, the whole story is that a woman named Elizabeth, she was either cheated on, or her husband had died, or something. Or people thought she was a witch, which I highly doubt is true, because I just highly doubt it was true. But anyway, so she was either hung, or she hung herself in a tree in this graveyard. And they buried her in this graveyard. Since then, the tree that she supposedly hung herself on has been struck by lightning, or that she was supposedly hung in, was struck by lightning and is now not there. At least I believe that was the tree. That's what people told me. Also, one of the stories, there are 2 gravestones marked with the name Elizabeth. Nobody knows her last name. And these 2 gravestones are always, there's a big pile of broken stones in the back of the graveyard, or grave field, or grave. And so people claim that if you move her gravestone out anywhere into the field or whatever, that she will move it to her actual place of death, which is where the tree was. Problem with that is the tree is towards the back of the grave site, and the guy mows. So if you move a stone out into the middle of the place, he's gonna move it before he starts mowing. I'm just saying. So the first time I had ever heard about this. My friend Mark told me about it, and my friend Mark and I, um, if we are bored or just want to hang out or whatever, we will go to haunted locations. It's just something we've always done since high school, since we've had our license, and we still do it every now and then now. And we don't necessarily ghost hunt or anything, but we just go to hang out and see if we experience anything or whatever. So Mark and I decided we were going to head up there, and it was summertime. It was in the middle of the day. We head up there. We were really surprised to see how isolated it was. But we get out there, and we get out and we walk around the grave sites, and the first thing that I'm drawn to are these five similar gravestones directly lined up side by side. So I was drawn to them, and I walk up to them, and I was reading them, and they were all children under the age of 18, and they were all related, and they all died within literally weeks from each other. Our area of Ohio was actually hit by, was it smallpox? We had a really bad outbreak of something. I'm pretty sure it was smallpox. But, and a lot of people were wiped out of our area. And so I kind of knew I was like disease, and I kind of was like, oh, wow. So I just kind of read and was thinking about them, meditating on that. Then we had decided, for whatever reason, to go and look at the pile of broken gravestones. So we walk back there, and we're just standing there, and I'm telling him, we're talking about how, this is such a shame, and this is so disrespectful, and it's just too bad that this happened. And I start hearing, like, footsteps, but not like they were walking, but just like they were standing and, like, moving just a little bit, like kind of walking, but not really going anywhere. And I wanted to see what it was, and Mark freaked out and didn't want me to go see what it was. He was afraid that, it was a person and we were going to get in trouble, something like he was chicken. So I didn't get to see what it was, but it really interested me. So that was the first experience I had there. Nothing too big, nothing that was like all ghost, whatever. We would go every now and then, and, I would just visit, just to pay my respects or visit or whatever. It was myself, Mark, his boyfriend, and my little sister, and we had finally decided we were going to go at night. The first night we were there was it was kind of weird. We went, and I had always, because I kept visiting the children's grave, I almost felt like every time I went there that they would be there. Like, I felt like I got this crowded, like they were following us around, just, trying to see what we were up to, whatever. And I would leave them little offerings, like I've left coins, and I've left, one time I left a piece of a cookie, I broke a cookie and whatever. We went that night, and it was almost like they were hiding from us. I think that was the first time that I really there were more than just two of us there, though. I could feel like they were hiding, and I felt like, there was a lot of movement everywhere. It was like there was a storm building up. I remember that much, too, so I kind of figured the energy there would be a little bit more, would be raising up or being aroused, because I was sensing things. That's about it. But then we decided to go another night. We went, and this time we decided for some reason we were going to focus on the opposite side of the graveyard. Instantly, as we're standing there and just listening or whatever, I felt like there was a presence, just one that was really kind of strong. Like, you could definitely feel it there, but it was like close. Like, I felt like it was standing really close, or it was really close. I started to say something to Mark, and again, I had my sister with me, and he had his boyfriend with him, and I started to say something about it, and next thing you know, we hear rocks. But when I say rocks, I mean it's literally sounded like somebody was picking up a good-sized rock and just dropping it on another rock. Just dropping it. And it would go, or, and it would be like, there'd be it'd be over here, then it would be over here, over there. I asked, is anybody there? And you still heard these rock noises. Again, still in different areas. I'm telling them, I'm like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? And I said, do you need help? And it's getting kind of faster, just a bit. Like a little more, not aggravated or anything, just kind of faster. Mark and his boyfriend and my sister are wanting to go. And I'm like, no, I'm finally getting something here. And and you're wanting to leave. I told him, I said, what if it's a person who's alive and they fell or something and all they can do is like hit a rock together? I felt like a static in the air, like the air was getting thicker. Like that presence was not just there anymore. It was like it was a widening experience. Like it was like we were being engulfed by something. So I did say, okay, hold on. Would you like us to go? The rock noise, they went like 5 different places at once. I was like, okay, see you later. We're leaving. So I left my coins at the usual graves and we left. Well, we didn't leave. We got in the car. We were about to leave. And I remember telling them something, because this is where I freaked out, was when we got in the car, because I felt like it was like all that air that was thick was pushed into the car and was in the car. I told them, hold on, wait. And like the car shook, or the car shook. It wasn't dramatic, like, but it was like a tilty type feeling. And that's when they freaked out, and I was like, no, just go. Just go. Just go. So we left. We actually just recently went back last month, and it wasn't very eventful. It was really cold, a really calm night. But we did hear coyotes while we were there. And so they decided they wanted to leave because they were afraid of the coyotes. That is the story of Elizabeth's grave. Actually, just a little tidbit of information. This last time that we went to Elizabeth's grave, that was not actually where we intended to go. We actually intended to go to Moonville, Ohio, which doesn't really exist anymore. It's actually a ghost town, but if you watch the Sci-Fi Channel, I can't remember what his show is, but the paranormal investigation show with Ozzy Osbourne's son, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Jack. It's Jack, right? Jack Osbourne. Yeah, his show, they actually went to Moonville Tunnel, which is where we went in the first place. But because it has, all the snow melted and it's been raining, you actually have to cross a creek to get to the tunnel, and the creek was flooded over and was flowing, and it was cold, and we were like, no, we can't do this. So this summer, that's actually on our trip list to go back. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little paranormal vlog.